Punching up, not down. This is the Situation Room. The only way to start your day.
7:07. Thank you for tuning in to Kenya's biggest conversation. This is the Situation Room. Wherever you are across the globe, karibu sana to the show. It's the second hour of the show on Spice FM, on KTN, on YouTube, and Facebook, and TikTok, and X. And we understand there's some issues on Radio Garden. They are getting sorted, and we'll address those immediately. It's the final day of the 3 days of national mourning declared by President William Ruto following the tragedy at Hillside Academy in Endarasha. And we continue to mourn and send our condolences to the families of those that died in that fire and those that were injured, and basically the entire school community. It's horror that visited those children, and we feel it for them. Ndu?
Yes.
Why wait when you can loop?
Why wait when you can loop? So you can imagine the best of both worlds. Mobile banking.
Like,
mobile, getting everything on your phone, and the banking world where you need to move money from one place to another.
Yes.
You need to transact. You need to pay your bills. You need to buy as a consumer, or you need to sell as a merchant. So you can imagine the world where all of this is looped. And that's what Loop by NCBA offers you today. Through and through, you can get a service which allows you to pay your bills at the click of a button, literally. And all you need to do is download the Loop app on your Google Play Store or Apple App Store, and you can get all of this stuff at your fingertips today. You can get fantastic things as well, where you can get an overdraft up to 100,000 shillings. You can get personal loans, 3 million shillings, and you can do all of this from the comfort of your mobile phone. Just because you did what?
Just because you downloaded and you signed up and you're looping. Loop. It's simple. Just go to the Play Store and App Store.
Yep.
I've actually done it. And the process is just very, very straightforward.
It's doing like that?
Yes. Oja kidogo. By the time tumalize hii show, nitakuwa nimechukua loan.
Bas. After twende tununua ice cream.
Tutakula a town. Okay. City, there's the issue of impunity that you talked about that is covered in the Star today. And ICJ Kenya is saying, you know what, this could happen and this could embolden other officers. So we want to talk about that. The Acting Inspector General of Police, Gilbert Masengeli, did not appear in court as summoned by court. Not once, not twice, not 3 times. But now the courts are like, now, tumefika mahali. And one of the people who has been very vocal about this is Nelson Havi. He is the former president of the Law Society of Kenya, or he likes to say, the 49th president of the Law Society of Kenya. He's our guest this morning. Nelson, hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Generally.
Well, I'd taken retirement, having served for almost 21 years in active combat. But the current situation demands that I don the uniform and come and fight these atrocities. I'm now back.
So explain this uniform.
Yes.
Tell us what's the inspiration behind the uniform?
This is the struggle by Fidel Castro, a distinguished lawyer, a distinguished communist, and a man who changed the world. We follow after him.
All right. Seti.
Here's the point. Che Guevara also used to don on.
Same.
The only thing that Honorable Comrade here now needs is a beret.
Bas.
I have a beret, but it tends to interfere with my silver
With the
hair.
hairdo.
Yes.
All right.
My hair
Okay.
is a trademark.
Okay.
But when I tried it in the morning, I said no.
He wants a silver. People must
Enough
see the
said.
silver.
No. I apologize for having brought in the
Then you can do the thing that they do, fold the beret and then put it here.
There's that little detail.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah,
People can still see.
that's for soldiers who are in active combat.
Like you.
But you just said you've come back.
I'm retired, but I've come back
Okay.
as a constabulary.
Yeah.
Officer Mzee.
Sawa. City?
Yes.
Give him the day's proverb.
Well, our proverbs for the whole of this week are from the Federal Republic of Somalia. This particular proverb is something I actually like. I like it because it puzzles me. And it makes my mind go in all manner of directions. These youth taught their mothers to give birth.
These youth taught their mothers to give birth. The end. That's it.
Kwesa.
That's the proverb.
Kwesa.
Does that sound like a proverb to you, Nelson?
Yes, it sounds like Andumakuwili proverb, because if the youth are teaching their mothers to give back, well, intriguingly so. So the first time you do it, then you continue doing it. So that is the teaching. Entirely true.
So what does it mean? What are they saying, the Somalis? Do it once, you learn. Do it again,
Yes,
you get
continuously. That's why Somalis have so many children. The mothers have been taught by their children to give back.
By the way, is that not an interesting twist? I hadn't seen it.
better. Yeah.
When you give birth to a child, that process is what teaches you how you can then have more children.
Exactly.
See, I was always, what puzzled me was the view, how does a child teach their mother how to give birth?
Yes.
How? Shouldn't it be the other way around?
The other way around.
Yeah, but when you put it that way, yes.
You learn, gain more and more experience.
That's why we have silver hair.
Bas. Bas.
Excellent.
Nelson, you are not happy with the Acting Inspector General of Police.
I'm disappointed not just with the Inspector General of National Police Service, but the entire administration. Because you see, the Inspector General of National Police Service is first a servant of the people. And who are the people? We are the people. We elect a government at the executive level, and that we expect the government at the executive level to implement the laws and the policies of this country. And at the legislature, we expect parliamentarians to oversight the executive. How did we end up with somebody like Gilbert Masengeli as Acting Inspector General of the National Police Service? An individual who is clueless, got no idea what his job description is, cannot prioritize key assignments that are significant to his office. But over and above that, the question lingers, which must be asked. Is there a deliberate attempt to have individuals in office who do not have the wherewithal, the competence and ability to do their work, so that the entire office is compromised, the entire nation is compromised? This is quite saddening. It is not just limited to that office. It appears to be, there are many other offices in Kenya that have people who do not know what their work is. Why? Is it deliberate? It is catastrophic. And coming back to this issue of Masengeli, we have 3 Kenyans who have been disappeared. And when asked to come to court to explain their whereabouts or any efforts taken by the state to trace them, he says he's otherwise engaged in matters of great national importance. And when you interrogate the matters of great national importance, they are showbiz. He's attending a concert, he's going to inspect a project in Kwale. It's saddening. It's saddening. And this must sadden Kenyans.
You know, it's not the first time that we're seeing a police boss disobeying court summonses. Even in the previous administration, we saw the same.
Yes.
Not once when the IG of police or the DCI boss would not appear in court. Not once. In fact, the former DCI boss was even committed to jail, right?
Yes, you're right.
So this is something that has continued. What does it speak of? Does it speak of a weak accountability mechanism at the highest levels of the police service? Who does the IG report to? Does it report to the commission, or does it report to the cabinet secretary or to the president? Who's the immediate supervisor of the IG of police? Independent as he may be.
The National Police Service is the employer of the Inspector General of the National Police. But as I said before, this is a state office. Whoever takes that office swears to uphold the Constitution. As much as there's a hierarchy of responsibilities and reporting, it does not derogate from the command that he holds a state office. So let's go up. The Inspector General of National Police will report to the PS Interior, will report to the CS Interior, and will eventually report to the President. The buck stops with the President. That is a direct answer, if I may give you. But let's go back again and interrogate this thing. Because when I started, I said there could be a deliberate attempt to have individuals who do not know what their work is. And you spoke about certain senior police officers were found to have contravened the Constitution, disobeyed court orders. You may have failed to notice that one of those was Joseph Boynet, the former Inspector General of the National Police Service.
Yep.
Have you seen him lately? You haven't seen him? He is actively involved in the work of the National Police Service. We do not know what his role is, but we see
And
him.
why
What do
he's
you
so
mean?
present.
He's always present in meetings of the National Police Service. Who? Joseph Boynet, the former
Former IG.
Yes. So we have incompetent fellows, faceless characters like Gilbert Masengeli. But behind them, we still have the Boynets who have perpetuated these violations for a long period of time. And as we speak,
There were two Boynets. Which one?
Boynet,
IG.
the immediate former Inspector General of the National Police Service, the one who preceded...
Not the intelligence guy. Just come closer.
Yeah.
Yes.
The one who preceded...
The guy who always seemed to have an ill-fitting hat.
Oh, okay.
No.
We can go with that.
That's Mr. Siege, not the one with the ill-fitting hat. Oh, the diminutive
Yes.
policeman.
Yes, that was Boynet, was he not?
Is that Boynet, Joseph Boynet?
Yes.
Yeah. Immediately before
I
Hillary.
always got the impression that he
Yeah.
had borrowed that hat
Hillary.
from someone, and then it wasn't fitting very well, yes.
Yeah.
What would that portend, though, Havi? If we're saying that it would appear as though the immediate former IG of police is present in present dealings of the NPS. What would that mean, and how would that then influence or affect the current state of things that we are seeing today?
It means two things. Disregard of the rule of law, because what office does he hold? In the police service, they are designated officers. You understand? There is a probability that he's an advisor. Officers that courts have said have no basis in the current dispensation. But more importantly, these are the minds behind what is happening. And I believe if Gilbert Masengeli was to come to court, the most logical answer, he will say that he doesn't know what is happening. Because what is happening from behind.
Okay.
And we're able to trace what is happening to certain individuals.
Okay.
And I believe Joseph Boynet is one of them.
So where we are today is that the acting Inspector General of Police has been summoned by court
Yes.
and failed to appear a total of 7 times, right? And the answers that are being sought from him are essentially the whereabouts or the details surrounding the disappearance of these individuals.
Yes.
Where did they go? Who took them? What has happened to them? Are they alive? If they're dead, whose fault was it? Kind of thing. He's failed to appear before court. From a legal point of view, one would assume that it doesn't matter who you are or what position you hold in Kenya, that if the court then summons you to come and give an explanation, that you're duty-bound to do so. Is it not?
Yes, you're right.
Okay. What does it mean then when an individual, in whatever capacity they serve, then refuses to appear for a record 7 times? What does that mean from your point of view?
Well, the starting point, and from a legal perspective, this is contempt of court. It's disobedience of a court order. The disobedience of a court order is a transgression that requires the highest sanction, punishment. But over and above punishment, it requires greater reorganization in the manner things are done. And it has been my harp song that the people of Kenya, either directly or through their representatives, being parliament, must take deliberate steps to ensure that those who disobey court orders, those who do not uphold the Constitution, are dealt with. And I say so advisedly because the court has performed its role. Take, for instance, what has happened to previous disobedience of court orders, where the court declares that one has violated the Constitution, he or she will be fined. What ought to follow next is the removal from office of such an individual. And then when that individual has been removed from the office, he or she needs to be declared unsuitable to hold any public
other
office, elective or appointive. But what happens? We see these people, as soon as declarations are made, they go home and hold homecoming. In fact, it's only in Kenya that criminals hold homecoming parties. And then after they've held their homecoming parties, they declare they want to run for member of National Assembly, they want to run for Senate, they want to run for governor, and even certain fellows declare that they want to run for president. And then people will cheer.
I want to hold you on that just a little bit because we know what the law prescribes, we know what is suggested,
Yes.
and we know what should actually hold fast according to the Constitution. But there do seem to be suggestions that it's just, something that's a puff of smoke in the air, it's inhaled and then it's gone like morning mist at noon. We know, he's not the first one, for example, that sits in a position that heads a security agency who's been called and summoned by court and has failed to show up. Former DCI boss, the same thing. And I think that the sentence that was preferred upon him was 4 months in jail and something like that.
Yep.
Did he ever serve them? Did he pay a fine? It's a suggestion that if you don't obey court orders, that 1, 2, 3 will be done to you. And then you talk about the relevant bodies then that should actually make sure something is done. Ensure that you do not, or you ensure that you vacate office, ensure that you do not hold a position appointed or elected, ensure that certain things. But these seem to be suggestions that, it's drama at the moment. Friday is in 2 days. What will the court say? Will they sentence Masengeli to time in prison, or will they jail him, or will they fine him? It just seems like it's a joke, and for me it seems like the ultimate travesty of justice, that we just say, okay, it's fanfare and we're watching it play out in the public arena, but nothing is going to be done. So why do we waste the time doing it and still put the responsibility upon Parliament to suggest these moves for the future? Why?
Well, what has happened before has happened. It should inform us on what should happen today and tomorrow. We are very deliberate as the legal fraternity. What we propose to do is on Friday, after Gilbert Masengeli has been sentenced, irrespective of the nature of the sentence, we'll move to have him removed as a senior police officer and as a police officer for that matter. Let him be stripped of the protection that inheres in the uniform of a police officer. And after he's been removed, we'll take deliberate action to prosecute him personally for the disappearance of these three. And you see, as we speak right now, we do not know their whereabouts. We do not know whether they are alive or dead. But you see, the right to life given under the Constitution must be given full effect. So that after we have stripped him, we'll sue him personally. Let us have reprieve against him so that we can have him as a lasting example to the rest. And that is the only way to remedy the past conduct, where court orders have been treated, in your words, as suggestions. It should not be repeated.
So you feel that this will serve as a deterrent?
Yes.
But then let's go through that process, that you seek to have him removed from serving as a police officer.
Yes.
At all, to be fired. So who do you make this application to?
He was hired by the National Police Service.
Okay. So the petition is to the National Police Service.
Yes.
To dismiss senior officer Gilbert Masengeli. Yes. What would the process look like?
It's never been done before, but the fact that it's never been done for
what do you anticipate?
does not
Is there a procedure laid in
we'll
law?
originate a petition yes, for gross misconduct and violation of the Constitution.
I hear you, and I get what you're saying. What I'm trying to bring here is it likely to bear fruit? And what are the safeguards that you have in place to make sure that this process actually moves? Because you see, we have 7 court summonses not honored by an Inspector General of Police. He is not the first one. All Inspector Generals of Police have not honored court summonses. All of them, since the first time we had an IG of Police after the new Constitution. There have been a court summons, not appeared maybe later, not appeared the next time, appeared another time with an explanation, or so on and so forth. DCIs have also done the same. Committed to jail, not gone to jail, not arrested. Senior officers have disobeyed court orders, not happened. The National Police Service, which is their employer, has never taken action against any of these officers.
Eric Latif, you say,
what are the safeguards that you
of the few
want to put in
determined
place?
Kenyans, I'm one person who has removed a judge from office. I commenced the removal of a director of public prosecution from office. He had to resign before I removed him. So when I say I've embarked this horse to that direction, the horse will verily reach there. I do not know what tomorrow comes with, but I know my determination to push this thing is a serious determination. It doesn't matter that it hasn't happened before. It will happen. Masengeli will never hold public office, elective or appointive, for as long as we are determined to do this thing. And we must do this. We must put away the reservations that have prevailed hitherto. Because it's a serious matter. It's a serious matter because we have 3 Kenyans, innocent Kenyans, who have been disappeared in a dispensation that said there will be no more abductions, there will be no more kidnappings, there will be no more extrajudicial killings, there will be no more enforced disappearances. In a dispensation that tells us we are not aware of any individuals who have been disappeared. We are not aware of any individuals who have been kidnapped, killed. Yet, we have about 250 bodies at the city mortuary unaccounted for. Doesn't it accrue? Yeah, it should. And the very fact that we have 250 unaccounted for bodies must tell you that the claim that there have been abductions, kidnappings, extrajudicial killings, and enforced disappearances is a valid claim. And it must be pursued to the very end.
You know, what you say is encouraging, it is uplifting, but what we are talking about here does not exist in a vacuum. We have an ecosystem that has been created in this country and has been enhanced since this government came into being, where it appears that the likelihood of anything happening to someone who has blatantly broken the law or who has even been found guilty by a court, that the laws that state, or the details of the law that state what would happen to such an individual are completely ignored. The ecosystem is what I'm referring to here, not the individual. This individual can perpetrate the law. He can do what he's doing because the ecosystem permits it. He knows. He believes he knows. He understands that nothing will happen to him because the ecosystem permits it. How do you explain a situation where someone is a member of parliament, he is found guilty, sentenced. There's an appeal. We had the Chief Justice sitting there, and I asked this question. I said, Madam Chief Justice, I need to understand. If I am found guilty today and have appealed, am I guilty or is that guilt suspended? Her response was, you are guilty until proved otherwise. That was her response. You find individuals serving in parliament, and that is hanging over their heads. You have individuals whose cases were dropped after they'd been appointed to high offices in this country. But at the time of appointment, they had this word hanging over their heads. People who by our laws should never, ever have even approached those offices. But they held those offices. Some still hold those offices. Very sensitive offices. It's an ecosystem. And that ecosystem exists. And that ecosystem fosters what we are seeing. Because in the absence of that ecosystem, I doubt if Mr. Masengeli, because this man is an educated fellow. He is not just your run-of-the-mill policeman who didn't quite finish school and had to be found something to do. No. This gentleman has actually gone to school. He's even currently pursuing a PhD. So in terms of book learning and academic, he is not an uninformed fellow. So I have to ask, what is it that would make a person be so bold? So bold? It is the ecosystem. He is not the problem, he is the symptom.
Okay. Yes, Elder, you've aptly depicted the picture. I'll give you an analogy, then proceed to discuss the issue. There is a zebra that has been attacked by a lion, put down. And ordinarily in the ecosystem of the zebras, they don't do anything. In fact, they will come, run away, or if they come close, they will display their helplessness. There is a clip of a zebra that decided to bite the lion. Unorthodox. And you see, until then, the lion was very comfortable because it knew the zebras will not do anything. The lion took off and left the zebra. You understand? So we are in this ecosystem of helplessness. But are we helpless? We are not helpless.
No, we are not helpless.
So we must seize the power that is within our ability to utilize and act. And that is why I've said the people directly. And the people have done this before. The power of arrest. The people have the power to arrest Gilbert Masangeli wheresoever found and bring him to court. Or if a sentence has already been meted on him, take him to
Prison.
Look, we do not want to fall back and apply medieval tactics. But human beings have lived in times where the citizens have executed kings, presidents, emperors. It has happened. We have lived in times where the people have arrested the kings and the presidents and tried them in the public square and jailed them. It's because those people understood there is need to deal with what Elder calls the ecosystem. We must deal with the ecosystem now.
Very good.
And the starting point is Gilbert Masangeli.
Let's take a break. 26 minutes to 8. Nelson Havi, the 49th president of the Law Society of Kenya, is our guest. He's among those that have gone to court and have said, Your Honor, this man deserves severe punishment for disobeying court orders. Who's the man? The Acting Inspector General of Police, Gilbert Masangeli. And so he invited him today to talk about this impunity that's in the system and how to deal with it. We'll be back shortly. Good morning.
This is the